Well, I love the concept of we are risking their health and
Lies,
well-being.
right?
It's like, okay, first of all, outside of what Tony Fauci tells you to do, walk me through all the things you do to make sure you're in tip-top shape. Okay, look, there's
Yeah,
a bit of an
right?
epidemic because not enough people know about the keto and carnivore diet, which completely saved my life. Um, I it's just this oh gosh, I swear to God, I had an angle on this that I was very furious about and then just forgot. It's like, "Oh,
Well,
okay." So, when people would say things like, "You're putting us at risk," or initially it was, "Do whatever you want, you're gonna die." And when we said, "Okay," they were like, "Okay, we actually are gonna reapproach this. You're threatening me right now. I get the
yeah,
shot, that saves my life, and you're threatening me by not getting the same shot." It's like, "Okay." For 10, maybe 15 years, you have told me there's really one problem in the world, and it's, bigots like you. It's these climate skeptics and these climate deniers. It's these people who don't care about education like you. It's people who don't want to give people health care just like you. It's people who don't want to regulate the entire economy from Washington, D.C. You are just such a big burden and a problem on society. And I go, well, you know what then? I want you to let me die. I'm not gonna get this shot. I want you to let me and all the rest of us who believe all those things you just listed, I want you to let us die. You would say that you don't have the right to kill us, but we're choosing to die by not getting this shot and by not wearing a mask and by not staying inside for years on end until Tony
yeah,
Fauci gives us the green light to go outside. So you're gonna basically have all the power you've ever wanted. We're most the vast majority of us are gonna die from COVID-19 since we're not taking the precautions you're telling us about, and then you'll have all the power in the world. You'll never have to even debate with us about schooling or healthcare or climate change or any of the other nonsense. You'll get all the DEI programs. We'll all be dead and the world will be yours. So please let me die.
yeah.
And they're like, "No, I need to save you. I need something to fight against. I need the bigotry that you bring into the world that I tell you is the worst thing on the planet. I need to keep you alive." It's like, what? I'm
I
offering to kill myself by
right.
not taking this
I
shot.
won't be here.
You're saving the world. There's not going to be terrible me around. You've said I was terrible for 20 years. I'm telling you, I want to die. I want to
Yeah.
give you the planet. And you guys are like, no, we're gonna save your life against your will. I'm like, "Okay, well, you're
Pure
probably a little
spite.
more insecure." Yeah.
Pure spite will keep you alive at this point. You cannot die.
The longer that I do this research, look into the libertarian and voluntarist philosophy, the less I see it as, of course, I think the world, every person has an obligation to respect the self ownership principle and the non aggression principle. However, as far away as that may seem, first of all, that's not just something that we have. Every other philosophy is saying, like, well, in the future, we're doing this now, but we'd like to grow in the future. So it's not just us living in like our fantasy land. Every other philosophy has a fantasy land and a way to get there. So it's not unique to us. But the more I appreciate these concepts being able to, show themselves in my everyday life. So what you had said about the baseball team, the concept of weighing benefits and costs, this is something the average adult does not do when it comes to politics. They will literally only list the costs or only list the benefits and say, this is a bad thing, there are costs. This is a good thing, there are benefits. Weighing both of those, especially when you're talking to a kid, I would think has to at least prime them to decrease the likelihood that they'll get manipulated by blatant propaganda from whether it's parents, whether it's teachers, whether it's friends or associates, bosses that they work with. Just that concept of being able to weigh costs and benefits in the short run and in the long run, you're getting a child to get into what Henry Hazlitt called the economic way of thinking. So I see that as really beneficial. I also see the self ownership principle as me going up to every person and saying, I am not entitled to one penny of what you've justly acquired, nor am I entitled to 1 second of your time. So, how do I create value in exchange for your money or time? I think libertarianism has made me a better person. I know a lot of heavy statists, whether they're on the right or left, it tends to be something on the left, where they feel so entitled to your time. I remember arguing with a family member, and he's okay, hold on, let me try to get this story out without getting specific, okay? So he go
I know, I'm the
per
same, like, "Ooh."
person person A said, person B never gives me any of their time. Much as I try for it, person B doesn't give me any of their time, and frankly, it's very rude, and I'm getting sick of it. So I say to person A, is there anything you do when you're around person B to create the incentive to want to be around you? Do you have things planned? Do you have topics to discuss? What are some of the things that you try to do to make yourself valuable so person B will want to spend their scarce time on earth with you instead of being alone, sleeping, reading, spending time with someone else? To which person A actually stopped and thought for like 3 or 4 seconds, which is more than person A will usually do, and he looks at me and goes, "I don't think I should have to do that. I think person B should wanna spend time with me just because 'cause I'm me." And I go, "Oh, that's why we disagree about 10,000 things, because we
Things.
really only disagree with one foundational thing, which leads to a disagreement in every other aspect of life." So, that to me is a great benefit that, we're able to get, and we don't have to say, "Well, this will only be beneficial if, the entire world is anarcho-capitalist within 20 years." That is just so difficult, to to obtain that I'm always trying to find, things in my everyday life. Another thing that I do is I try to engage in persuasion as much as possible for basically anything I want. So, I feel totally justified in having real opinions about what people should say, frankly, what people should wear, or how buildings should look, how houses should perform because I'm so how houses should appear because I'm very aware of the power of persuasion, and just invoking a little guilt can incentivize a person to change their behavior. The only reason I was able to lose 110 pounds is not because Michelle Obama passed a law, it's because someone literally persuaded me into doing it. So once I see it's like, okay, I can't use violence or threats thereof. What can I do to get this person to change for what I think is the better? And I'm totally open to any criticism. I have no problem having a discussion with a Mormon or a Jehovah's Witness who is like, you are going to burn in hell for eternity. I have no problem asking what their evidence or reasoning is, and I'm totally open to it. Other statists are like, don't push that on me. I'm like, you want to cage me for not chipping into bullshit. What do you mean, don't push it on you?